So, Namah Shri Shankarananda. Salutation to Holy Shankarananda. Shankarananda is the teacher of the author of this master. So he salutes his own master to start the journey of Eastern wisdom, aims at self-discovery. So not only he is saluting and doing namaste to his master, why? So he feels internally that let the journey of self-discovery I am going to teach should manifest in me so that I can complete. And he also does namaste on behalf of the seekers so that the journey of the seekers of self-knowledge will also be complete. You see, when you have these thoughts in your mind, you are not looking for the bestseller of the book. You are looking totally something different that transcends the world to the lotus feet of the Guru. He emphasizes lotus feet of the Guru. Symbolically as humility. Humility is the openness of the mind that can receive the knowledge. So why the lotus feet of the Guru? Savilas Mahamoha, the great delusion with all its manifestations. The great delusion. Great delusion, it begins with ignorance and its families. Where is the family of ignorance? I am boss, I am husband, I am wife. So that is the first family, I-ness, ego-ness, or I maker. Second family is my car, my house, etc., etc., my problem. That is the second family member of the ignorance. So first is the ignorance first family, where we add ego, and second, where we add my, and then what are the other? Binding, desire, anger, hesitation, delusion, and jealousy and hatred. Long family members. So what Master is saying? The great delusion with all its manifestation. What is the sole function of this Eastern wisdom? Sole function is to devour this monster of delusion. This monster of delusion. Keep that in your mind. You can open your eyes. Even while listening and paying attention, if you maintain that awareness, I have to get rid of this entire family, the head of the family, ignorance, and then I have explained you the family members. You are happy. Here and now, you begin the journey with that happiness. That is what we discussed in a different format last week. What was that format? Incidental and essential nature. Incidental and essential nature. Now pay attention, incidental nature. Ignorance comes under incidental nature. I am. So, in a particular situation, I am, and it is my, incidental or essential. Just see that. Can I maintain that awareness to get rid of that monster of delusion? So, incidental as delusion, creating tool, manifestation. So, we need a humility to understand this. Why? Because that I-ness prevents you learning from this. I-ness, ego and my. I and my. Okay, I'm already managing my life. I'm getting this much of money. And then, I have I have my house, my car, everything is going normally. So let me pay half-hearted attention to the journey of the self-discovery. And it is not going to work. So the humility is required to open up and awaken to that. These are the universal concept and principles. Can you tell me which human being in the entire universe out of 9 billion people, now we are approaching 9 billion, is happy? There is some problem either with the relationship or with finances, with a house, with kids, with physical health, with mental ability. There is always one problem. Minimum one problem is left with every human being. And that problem manifests through the family of incidental nature. Don't identify with the incidental nature and see what happens. How come I have a gray hair, incidental nature? Just think. Master says, be open and see. No, I don't have a gray hair because I shave very cleanly, so nobody can see even a single hair is gray. Incidental nature. So what happens? The humility opens the space. It gives you the space. What is that space? Space is self-awareness. We'll talk about it. That space is self-awareness. At the internal level, there is a mental space, there is a physical space. In that space, I recognize, oh, this is incidental nature, and it is not me and mine. Let it come, let it go. You become happy. So what we need, a consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection changes intellect. Changes your intellect. It changes your understanding. Intellect means understanding here. So when you have an understanding, that is what, modern psychology says cognitive change. We discussed that. So that changes the mind. That changes the mind. Let me pick up a single example that I have given you many a times, and let us see what happens with the cognitive change in your life. Waves in the water. We all know, intellectually we understand. What we understand? All the waves are nothing but the water. Intellectual understand. Dry understand. Now the second understanding is that whether the wave exists or not, or it is my perception. In my perception, the wave exists. The water does not say the wave exists. In my perception, wave exists. That is my ignorance. How come you say that? Now see how the cognitive change takes place. Can I say the water in the wave? Can I say it? Can I say water as wave? Two things. Water in the wave, water as the wave. I don't recognize the wave as such. I ask the mind, don't recognize. This is the world of the name and the form. And whatever is the world of name and form will create an illusion. Can I say water as wave, water in wave? We are going a little deeper. Can I say that? Yes. Why? The wave, the name and the form depends on the water. So instead of saying depend on the water, water in the wave. I bypass the ignorance. Water as wave, and I still bypass the ignorance. So if you contemplate and reflect on this, now apply it in your life. Existence as Dennis. Existence in Dennis. Existence in David. Existence as David. We are not studying rocket science. When you say use the word rocket science, it's very complex. No, it's very simple. Do you see? Existence as Ashok, existence in Ashok. In Ashok means existence is one as many manifestations. So when you do the consistent learning, contemplation, that knowledge, that wisdom reveals in you. Existence in and as here, in and as there. Now tell me where the ego is left. Ego is still there. Find out. Delusion is still there. Find out. When it is in and as, water in wave, water as wave, existence in Dennis, as Dennis, in David, as David, in David. But then what exactly happens? We get lost in incidental nature. If you get lost in essential nature, no problem. That is known as self-absorption. When you lost in incidental nature, you are absent-minded. Are you getting it? I'm lost in a job. I'm lost in what to do with my honey. Enough is enough. You see that? You are still lost. But you are lost in incidental nature. Think. I lost in people, I lost in job, I lost in relationship, I lost in money, I lost in my home. I don't know what's left of me. I'm totally lost. What is, oh no, you are not lost. You are lost in incidental nature. Just ask yourself, I'm not saying that, you have to agree to that. I'm just talking, and or you can say I'm manifesting this knowledge in a very applied manner so that you can easily understand it. I hear you, it feels like a core part of you has vanished. When you say I'm lost in job, I'm doing what to do, I'm lost in my relationship, I have lot of challenges. It feels that as if you are core part of you has vanished. Let's explore that feeling. The suffering you are experiencing seems to be real, but its source is misunderstanding. Its source is misunderstanding. You are suffering because you are mistaken something temporary for something essential. That is the problem. Problem is not that you are lost. You lost the job. This is a great delusion we all face in our life, and its root. What is the manifestation? Further manifestation? Anxiety, reaction, fight, comparison, distress, jealousy, hatred. That is what I explained to you last week. Just take a bowl of water, bowl of hot water. Is the heat its true nature? Answer is no. Its real nature is to be cool. The heat is just borrowed from the fire. Clear? The heat is the incidental quality, temporarily and borrowed. The coolness is the intrinsic nature, unchanging and essential. If I want to bring about a transformation, reach to the highest level of the consciousness, I have to identify myself with, for example, the water in and out, not water in heat as heat. Means I lost my job, enough is enough, I have lot of challenges, lot of problem. You are sitting in your house and talking, it is very easy. Ashok might be thinking, I have lot of challenges that you don't understand. So because I don't want to understand. Borrowed heat is my incidental nature. I have never. Did you ever think like this? You simply think like this and then you see. This is what the master is saying we have to remove. This monster of delusion. I'm making it very applied and simple. The moment you have an anxiety, find out for what, and then see is it incidental or essential, and reflect on it. Then you will not be lost in the incidental nature that causes the anxiety. If you are lost in essential nature, it is known as self-absorption. Are you getting it? I believe so. So, in order to understand little deeply, to remove the delusion, our master says we have three layers of the delusion: the physical layer, the subtle layer, and the causal layer. Subtle body, physical body, the causal body. So we have a different layer of manifestation of delusion at the physical level, at the subtle level, at the causal level. Your body, bank account, office, subtle layer, your mind, intellect, and ego. If there is a God, if you believe in, just for a minute, God hides what is going on in your mind. If God does not hide what constantly goes into your mind, two people cannot live in relationship. Outside you say, honey, I love you, I care, but internally you have thought otherwise. And if that is not hidden, the relationship will not continue. Relationship with the boss and the employees and the politicians and the nations, it has its relevance. So what I was saying, incidental nature, many layers of delusion, that is explained by the three bodies: physical layer, subtle layer, and the causal layer. So obvious question comes, if I go into the causal level and remove this illusion completely, I will be happy. Then I will constantly live into my essential nature, not in the... Now see the beauty of this journey. Your profession, your job title, incidental nature. Behind it, your consciousness, the unchanging awareness that perceives, is our intrinsic essential nature. My social status, car I drive, the clothes I wear, the size of my home. What about the inner home? Same. Incidental nature. Your physical appearance, hair, color, height, weight, your essence, peaceful, whole, independent of externals. Your achievement, incidental nature, unchanging observer is your essential nature. That is why we did the poise practice to experience the witness. Now you said three layers, but how come these three layers have come into existence or manifested? How the waves in the water manifest? So we have an answer. We create a model in our head to bring about a cognitive change. So the pure consciousness manifests through the three fundamental qualities, which is known as satoguna, rajoguna, tamo. You see, logical. So first we ignorance and its families, and also take essential nature, wisdom and its families, permanent peace, happiness, love, truth and wisdom. My master used to say, Satchidanand, that is you. He used to say, I am sitting in every one of you. When you realize that, you actually experience that. Yes, you are sitting. Water in, water as. That is. So once we understand the family of incidental nature, then we say, no, there are many layers. So how can you categorize them? Three layers: physical, subtle, and the... But how come they came into manifestation? Pay attention now. Pure consciousness manifests through three fundamental qualities. I'm reversing the understanding. So that consciousness, when it manifests through the satoguna, it is the Ishwar. The ignorance is under the control of that. So we have to increase the satoguna. But if it is pure consciousness plus rajoguna, I told you it is an individual activity, passion, motion. It is the individual self. And plus tamoguna, inertia, matter, solidity, plus consciousness is the material world. So one common factor. What is that? Water in, water as. Consciousness in, consciousness in. But we pick up the incidental nature and we are lost. I believe you have understood this. Three layers: physical, subtle, and causal, and then by manifestation. How the manifestation took place? By three gunas: satoguna, rajoguna. Okay, I understand that. I understand. But what happens after that? Because of that interaction, because of water in, consciousness in satoguna, as satoguna, you are God. Consciousness in and as rajoguna, dominant. All the three gunas are present in and as. We are individual. We all as an individual. Consciousness in and as. Tamaguna is the matter. Okay, we have understood the three layers and three gunas. It is only a manifestation. I should remember this. It is only a manifestation. Because if it is a permanent entity, then, when I was born, this much of size, I should have remained that much of size. There is no change. That is, so it means whatever is changing, it consists of the three layers because of the three gunas. No, but what? No, I want to understand a little deeper. So then what happens? That reality, consciousness in and as is a matter, manifest as space, air, fire, water, earth. It is not the water H2O. Pay attention, as a space which has a quality of sound. Sound has a quality of ear. So it means existence has already manifest intelligently to have a faculty of the ear to receive the sound from the world in the space. Can you see that consciousness is present everywhere? What a beautiful concept this is. It's a model to understand that. If there is no space, there is no sound, it is useless. So I depend, my ears, incidental, heavily depends on air. Air has two qualities, sound and the touch. If there is no air, you don't feel the sensation of the touch. Remove the air. That we are talking of that air as a causal element, as a causal. We don't take notice of it. Then the fire. Fire has three qualities: sound, touch, and the sight. We don't talk of the fire in the gas stove. Sight, heat, and the sound. Then water, it adds taste. Earth, add taste means sound, touch, sight, and taste. And earth element contains all the five qualities. Have you seen the progressive manifestation? When you see anything, it contains the fire element of sight, but also has a touch and sound properties. Why we are learning this? Why we are understanding? So that we can filter all the incidental nature, and what is left is the consciousness. So once we experience that, we have reached it. A solid wall appears solid with all the five qualities, but understanding its elemental nature helps dissolve the illusion of absolute solidity. That is why physical, subtle, causal. So when we reach at the causal, it is not a solid. So we will expand it further how the five subtle elements manifest step by step. The starting point I told you last in couple of sessions before, Prakriti. Prakriti with Tamoguna. Dominance. Tamoguna dominant. So it creates the entire material world. Why? What is the quality of the material world? Inertia, darkness, heaviness, latency. Can you think of total inertia, darkness, heaviness, and latency in you and me? I cannot speak, you cannot listen. So Rajoguna is required. That's why we are dominant with the individual Rajoguna. I'm not going there. This highlights that creation doesn't emerge from the pure chaos. We don't say. The entire creation does not create from the chaos but from a specific state of Prakriti, either Satoguna, Rajoguna, or Tamoguna. This implies a specific qualitative characteristics of initial stuff of this universe. Imagine a still, dark, dense lump of clay. Add Satoguna means potential, conception. I create a clay pot. So every so-called creation is taking place in the field of Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Consciousness, nothing happens to that. Nothing happens to that essential nature. It remains as it. Can I live into that state of awareness? When you live into that state of the awareness, Ishwar is there. Consciousness plus Ishwar is there. So conception, knowledge, Satoguna is every there. So that recognizes here is a lump of clay, a conception. Where is that conception? Lump of clay can be converted into a clay pot. Then perception, and then I create a pot and I see the sensation. Oh, this is a clay pot. So don't think our parents are only the material cause of our birth. The efficient cause is only one. It is consciousness plus Satoguna. We all have parents. Our parents are the physical, material cause. Material cause is already existing in the universe. If this material cause does not exist, can our parents give birth to us? Are you understanding that? With due respect to all the parents. But there is one biggest parent. That is the only one parent for everyone. From there the conception comes. From there the conception comes. There the conception comes. Are you getting it? Let us make it little clear example with the examples. Architect in the blueprint. A pile of bricks, cement and timber will never assemble into a house. The architect first conceives the design, then issues instructions to engineers and workers, and the building comes up for the people to live in. Now compare this. Prakriti, raw material, requires Ishvara, consciousness plus Satoguna, will, the will there as the guiding blueprint. Farmer in the field. Raw material is available, but the will is required. That will is coming from consciousness plus Satoguna, which we use, which we see as a God element, as the Ishvara. Teacher in the classroom. A classroom is just four walls until a teacher steps in with the purpose. Sadhuguna. The teacher commands the atmosphere into a learning mode, and students gain knowledge through the engagement. Look at it. Look at it. A play requires a conscious writer, a play, drama, who imagines characters, scenes, and the purpose. That is how we are moving ahead with understanding. A play requires a conscious writer who imagines scenes and purpose. Without the playwright, the wooden stage and the curtain means nothing. A cosmic drama exists. Do you think that you thought that you should attend my session? Did I think that you must attend my session? Or there is another cosmic will is present who brought us, all of us, together? Consciousness plus Satoguna. We are answering in a logical manner. So we are talking in a holistic manner. We are not leaving anything as it is. I'll present something about the scientific aspect so that the things will become clear. So the first emergent element is the space and the ether. And the space and ether, then there is another that is known as the will. At the causal level, Satoguna plus consciousness is prana. So when it manifests as an activity, as a power of a change. So you see that the space mixes with the prana, becomes air element. Air plus prana mixes together, they become fire element. Fire plus prana, they become water. Water plus fire, they become earth. That is how these five elements emerge. Why they are subtle? They are called subtle. They are not the gross physical elements we perceive. That is at a later stage, but they are primordial, unmixed essence. Causal level. And the sequence of their manifestation is considered hierarchy, one after the other, with the space, the subtlest it is, it has got the less qualities. The grosser and the physical it has got many qualities. Just follow this principle and you will find out. You pick up anything that is purely physical, it has got many qualities. Solid, black. Go ahead. And sound. It has got the sound. So this earth element has got all the five qualities. I believe if you create a picture in your mind with the three layers and the three gunas, and then the play of subtle space. Think about the silence, the background of all the sounds. Even in an empty room, there is a space for sound to exist. Our ear is designed to perceive the sound. Did I create the ear, or it is created by the existence? To link it to the space where the sound exists. So it means that entity must be present here also, in the ear also, and in that space also. Otherwise, how can you conceive of that? So we are proving consciousness is present everywhere. Tell me if it is not. Otherwise, how can you create? Subtle air, touch, the subtle essence of movement in contact, you think. We don't perceive air as a gas initially, but its quality of touch. Quality of touch, here is the skin. If that entity, that knower is not present here and in the air, how can you correlate this? Science is a reductionist approach. We have a holistic, subtle fire, the essence of light and the heat which gives forms to the object. Our eyes perceive form in the light. Subtle water, which is not visible, water. The essence of liquidity and taste, our tongue perceives the taste. Subtle earth, all the five. Basically, it is of the smell and think of this. You just keep looking at me means through your eyes. Looking also means that you are listening purely at the physical level. But understanding is done at the subtle level. So, subtle level also has some cause. Behind that, there is a causal level which has a memory of our language by which we understand a common language and we give it a meaning. So, but how come? Who gives the meaning? The intellect. What the intellect does. Cognitive understanding. When this cognitive understanding takes place, then we can find and we can understand what is this real self is. What is this real self? So you see, in another session, in another private session, I said there are three persons in me. Person number one, it's a baseline awareness. Like animals, your pet is sitting there, you look at the pet, but simply you don't do anything. So he also keeps looking at you. It's a baseline awareness. Embodied with the tamasic guna, that is the material body, embodied with the impulsive nature. Person number one, we all have it. You wake up in the morning, do nothing. There is no thought and intent is there. It is just a baseline awareness. Animal consciousness, simply. Person number two is the default and impulsive mind. You have a nurse, you go to the washroom, you have a nurse, you go to the kitchen and prepare. That impulsive mind. This impulsive mind where all the delusion and illusion lives. And the third person is the discerning intellect. And that discerning intellect we have to awaken. We have to exercise. We have to practice. We have to question this discerning intellect again and again and again and again, until it removes all the impulsive and the delusion and the incidental nature. And when the incidental nature is, it keeps on changing. So when it removes all the incidental nature, removes it, last point, very important to understand. When I say remove it, I see the water in wave, water as wave. That is removal. Wave is different. You see the wave in the storm, so much, When my perception, baseline awareness, perceives the wave as separate. Person number 2, the default mind perceives with the delusion. Oh, this is solid. No, this is not solid. Can you apply that existence as name this existence as Dennis, existence in Dennis? What happens? Your perception is so subtle, you don't see as a human, you don't see as a physical body, as a mental body, as a causal, you see something vast. Why? The water in wave, ocean in wave, infinite. Can you see that? Can you see that infinite? It is here now. Yes, let us discuss this. Dennis, you want to come?
So my summary of the session, this world is a delusion and ignorance is at its core. And ignorance is not just that I don't know something. Ignorance is a belief that whatever I feel and experience is true and final. Ignorance is perceiving an incidental as essential. And ignorance is inability to see that this world is a manifestation of one pure consciousness by the mix of three gunas that give birth to five elements and so on. And this delusion happens on three layers. Physical, where we experience material objects and see them as separate solid entities, which is not true. Then comes subtle layer where we build concepts in the mind like this is good and that is bad, and that is also not true. Where we understand things based on our likes and dislikes, and where we interpret our sensory input, again, based on our past experience and past vasanas. And then comes causal level, where the ignorance is unmanifested. It is in the form of a seed that causes physical and subtle layers. And when ignorance is removed, perception continues, but everything is perceived as a manifestation of one pure consciousness and not as separate entities. So the wave becomes the water.
You see, I'm just, it came to my mind early in the morning that, wave, the water is present in the wave. Yes. Water as wave, can I say it firmly? Yes, I'm in pointing essential nature of the wave, not the incidental nature. Do you see? Cognitive change takes place. I've repeated again and again that understanding Understanding means knowledge, it means consciousness, it means awareness. In a simple term, beautifully summarized. Whatever what you have to say.
Thank you, sir. So I'm not sure if I understood correctly, but it's like a chain of cause and effect, and like what we are doing right now is an effect of some subtle causes. And if we move to the first cause, like everyone's cause is common only, and then there was one cause, and after that, different effects was there, and on those effects, different causes was created. So this chain is there, and like still I need to understand this in a better way.
Simple way. You continue finding the way Dennis has explained. He explained in the form of cause and effect. Our masters declare you have a common sense intellect, yes. How the intellect works to acquire the knowledge by cause and effect. Very good. Start finding the cause and effect. Reach to the ultimate cause. What is the ultimate cause? Has no effect. What is that? It is pure consciousness. What is that pure consciousness? It is your essential nature. It has no ultimate. You cannot find the cause of the consciousness. Right? If you find the cause of the consciousness, then it can also be divided. Then it is subject to change. And if it is subject to change, then it becomes the incidental nature. It does not remain the essential nature. Finished. We have reached there. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. Love the explanation, the incidental versus the essential. So question is essential then non-changing?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I love it. I love the analogy. I love the incidental. And when we look at things in life, we realize that they're just temporary. They're the wave is not the water. The wave is just an incidental moment in time affecting the water. So when we look at ourselves, consciousness being the essential, the non-changing, the incidental is the delusion, the external things that are changing. So that's going to resonate with me, and I love it. So thank you.
You see, the wave is incidental, rightly said. So now apply that in your where you stand. So existence in Dennis, for example, existence in David and existence as David. So same thing applies to me also. So it means the external name and the form are incidental. Why I should take it as essential nature? Why I feel ashamed is if David stands before me as a billionaire. See? Dennis stands before me as smarter than me. That me is associated with the wave. Wave as such does not exist. And I live into that state of awareness all the time. See what happens. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I think the takeaway for me is really getting in touch with our not knowing, that place of not knowing and that humility.
Yeah.
And then seeing the existence, I love that, in everything. So as soon as we see the existence in everything, then we can start to break down the nature of everything. from the tama guna to the raja guna to the sattva guna, and then we can understand it a little
Yeah.
bit better
Yeah.
as that moves through and is in everything. So more to digest, but
Yes.
thank you.
We will also understand. Let me pick up the next session that how the science miss these attributes from the higher to lower, from the space to the earth element. Let us explore that. How the approach of the science is working and how the approach of Eastern wisdom is working. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Why does the science miss all the 5 attributes of senses in the earth element? So if I answer that question, you will get a deeper and clear understanding. So I will pick up that in the next session. How are you, Terry?
It's like 1 minute I feel that I grasp it, and the next second I don't grasp it. So I don't know what to say.
Yes,
But
yes.
I'm amazed by everyone else's ability to put it into logical language. That's very impressive.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
think I just need to listen to it many times.
And you rightly said, our masters have answered it. What is that answer? I think as if I have grasped it and I have not grasped anything. From where this doubt comes. That is the beauty, why I'm so much absorbed in the Eastern wisdom. Oh, it answers this also. What is the answer? But there are many answers. I'm giving you only one answer. What we say, the dry understanding. What is the dry understanding? Dry understanding means that it lacks the ability to bring the transformation of the mind. You have heard it, you have understood it, the session is off, your mind goes back to the same stuff of ignorance and delusion. This is what is known as the dry understanding. How it should become the wet understanding, I'm just making you antonym of that. That means that your mind and intellect and whole being is immersed, absorbed into this wisdom. So the master says, you have a dry understanding, everyone can have a dry understanding, but you should have a loving understanding. Loving. You should love the knowledge. And that loving understanding is what we say the path of the yoga is known as the bhakti yoga. So when first we understand, then we apply the bhakti yoga, then you will not be able to say, I have understood and still I say, I have not understood. Because when you add the love into the knowledge, it becomes a permanent understanding. But one thing is always amazing. It may be amazing for those who are professionals like Jerry and even you, Terry, that this is the real yoga. What we think what yoga is incidental. It is incidental. I don't talk about this I don't make this statement where Dennis translates that group of Ukrainians, because they are still deeply deluded that no, this is important. Gradually, it takes time to reach to that stage. Anyhow, so understand this. What I said, you pay attention that knowledge is clear, but if I love that knowledge, so then there is a process that how you have to love that knowledge. There are steps. So when you keep loving that knowledge, not only you remove the delusion, but that love plus knowledge is nothing but the pure consciousness. Attachment plus the ignorance is incidental nature. I'm just creating an entry. Love for the existence. So you are on the right track when you say you have understood and still you have not understood. It's okay. Existence in Terry, existence as Terry. Tell me, what is the difference between you and me? From that perspective, there is no difference. Terry is the name, you have a form, you have an age, you have a gender. That all belongs to the name and the form. This also belongs to the name and the form. Existence in Terry and Girish is the same. Essence is the same. Existence as Terry and the Girish, the essence is the same. What is that essence? Weber. It is the ultimate cause. You cannot find the effect. It's an ultimate cause. So when you have found the ultimate cause, you have found your real self. Or you can say how two waves are one and the same. They are not one and the same at the physical level. They are not one and the same at the subtle level. Three layers. Why the three levels are understood? Model. You see clarity. At the causal level, obviously the causal level is the same for everyone. But what is that causal level? Consciousness plus satoguna minus satoguna. It is the existence in existence as. So when you love existence in existence as, you will make a statement, wow, I got it. Eureka. You know Eureka? Huh?
Yeah, that's a great.
Greek, Archimedes. But there is a story, he was taking a bath in the bathtub, isn't it, Dennis? And he found the principle, and he was naked. So he found it. Eureka means I found it. So he went outside on the streets of Greece, and he said, oh, I found it, naked. So you can go and find out while running on the street of the Greece naked, we recognize that we are already naked. This physical, subtle, and the causal are the three layers of the clothes that we are putting on. Behind that, there is a real self. That needs to be picked up and understood. We will continue our journey. Thank you very much. We will meet again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.